In the Kashmir Valley, the brave young major led from the front. The task was to neutralize Pakistani terrorists hiding in a village. The intelligence was specific. But as the soldiers advanced to cordon that house where terrorists were holed up, a mob suddenly appeared and started pelting stones, diverting the attention of the security forces, and the terrorists then opened fire at the army column. Saving his men, this brave young major took a hail of bullets in his chest and yet continued to fire at the terrorists. 3 terrorists were killed, but there were others who managed to escape. And this isn't the first time that stone pelters have blocked anti-terrorist operations in Kashmir Valley. But thus far and no further. The Army Chief General Bipin Rawat read out the right act to these stone pelters. Wave Pakistani flags, wave Islamic State flags, or obstruct operations now at your own risk, is his stern warning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Chief of the Army Staff General Bipin Rawat saluting the brave martyrs who made the supreme sacrifice of their lives during anti-terrorist operations in Handwara. As India seethes with anger at the martyrdom of 6 soldiers in 3 encounters, and as forces seek a clear, standard operating procedure to deal with stone-pelting mobs during anti-terror operations, a direct warning for the stone-pelters and the troublemakers in the valley from the Chief of the Army Staff himself. The warning is in no uncertain terms. Stop targeting soldiers during anti-terror operations, or get ready to pay a price.
And as we are conducting operations against them, we find that the local population somehow is not becoming supportive of the actions of the security forces. That people who have picked up arms, and these are the local boys, if they want to continue with these acts of terrorism, displaying flags of ISIS and Pakistan, then we will treat them as anti-national elements. They may survive today, but we will get them tomorrow. And our relentless operations will continue.
Watch how CRPF personnel were targeted with petrol bombs in Srinagar. The crossing of the red lines is simply not acceptable anymore. Terrormongers can't run amok in the valley. The army is making that very clear. Stone pelters will now be treated like overground members of terrorist organizations. Going beyond the demarcated boundaries won't be tolerated, and if breached, forces will be well within their rights to use non-lethal or even lethal force. Even as India creates a new space record, Pakistan continues to launch terrorists and terror sympathizers in the valley. Will not be tolerated anymore. It's time to respect the Lakshman Rekha. It's time to put India first. Bureau Report, India Today. The kill ratio of 1 terrorist for the loss of 1 soldier is completely unacceptable. Soldiers are a national asset, and losing young soldiers or young officers to kill a couple of terrorists is too expensive a price to pay. India just can't afford this. The security forces feel they have systematically been targeted and handicapped in this war on Pakistan-sponsored terror. The earlier kill ratio was 5 terrorists, at times even 7 terrorists killed for the loss of a single soldier. As Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the army paid homage to our braves, the government has decided to put in place clear rules of engagement, a list of do's and don'ts while combating Pakistan-sponsored terror. 3 encounters in 3 days. Some of the deadliest encounters both in North and South Kashmir. 6 security forces personnel made the supreme sacrifice of their lives. 6 terrorists gunned down. The first of these encounters in South Kashmir's Kulgam, the second in Hajin in Bandipora, and the third in Handwara. Victory came at an unaffordable cost. 6 soldiers, including a young army major, killed in action. India salutes these braves who fought to death to weed out terror in a display of bravery beyond the call of duty in the line of fire. An indebted nation paid rich tributes to the soldiers who laid down their lives. Major Satish Dhaiya of the 30th Battalion, the Rashtriya Rifles, was killed in an encounter with Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists in the Kralgund Handwara area on Tuesday afternoon. 3 terrorists were also gunned down in the same encounter.
हमने पुलिस के साथ मिलके जॉइंट ऑपरेशन लॉन्च किया जिसको मेजर सतीश धैया लीड कर रहे थे। जवाबी कार्रवाई में जो फौज के द्वारा की गई उसमें तीनों टेररिस्ट मारे गए।
Earlier the same day in another encounter, 3 army jawans were martyred in Hajan area of Bandipora in North Kashmir. Paratrooper Dharmendra Kumar, rifleman Ravi Kumar and gunner Ashutosh Kumar made the supreme sacrifice of their lives. 1 terrorist was eliminated in this operation. Security forces in Jammu and Kashmir want redefined red lines to deal with stone pelting flash mobs during anti-terror operations.
Now, this is something which goes back to about 2015 or so. It started from South Kashmir, where in sympathy with the local terrorists who had been recruited there, you found a phenomenon in which you found through social media flash mobs being generated at encounter sites.
They're making it very clear that there is a Lakshman Rekha that even the mob needs to follow, especially now when they're coming out in support of even Pakistani terrorists. With cameraman Ashwini in Delhi, Gaurav Sawant for... Security forces were hot on their heels of Pakistani terrorist Abu Dujana of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, but it appears he's managed to escape through the security cordon. This time, this was near Pulwama. He is Lashkar's most wanted terror operative in the Kashmir Valley. He's managed to escape, is what we are being told by our sources in Udhampur-based Northern Command. On Tuesday afternoon, based on specific intelligence, a team of Special Operations Group of the Jammu and Kashmir Police and the Army intercepted a Maruti car. He was suspected to be travelling in this car. Abu Dujana managed to escape. That is what we are being told. He left the car behind. He's left his mobile phone behind, and that is a goldmine of information. The car has been seized, the mobile phone has been seized, but the terrorist and his supporters managed to escape. Again, we are being told that a mob had collected, there was stone pelting, and that is how terrorists managed to get away. Now the question is, who is Abu Dujana? For the benefit of our viewers, the man you see on your television screen, he is the valley's most wanted Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist. He is a Pakistani national who's been operating in Jammu and Kashmir, carries a bounty of 15 lakh rupees on his head. And this is the 4th time he's given the security forces a slip. He was last spotted at Hizbul terrorist Burhan Wani's funeral in July 2016. Now, he was almost killed in the last encounter. The security forces succeeded in closing in. They've succeeded in eliminating some of those who were with Abu Dujana. Some may say, and that is what the intelligence input is, some say he was injured in a recent encounter but managed to escape. Now, India today had accessed a telephone conversation between Lashkar-e-Taiba chief Hafiz Saeed, the mastermind of 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, and Valley's terror commander at that point of time, Burhan Wani. Now, just before Burhan Wani was killed by security forces, there was a phone conversation that was intercepted, and that is where Burhan Wani of the Hizbul Mujahideen wanted to make contact with Abu Dujana of the Lashkar-e-Taiba. Listen in to that last phone call.
अगर इंशाल्लाह हम मिलके काम करेंगे। दुजाना भाई से मेरी बात भी हुई, जो यहाँ ज़िम्मेदार हैं लश्कर के, आपको तो पता ही होगा। तो मैंने सोचा अगर थोड़ा मतलब आपका ताउन चाहिए था, बस इंशाल्लाह हम दुश्मन को जल्द यहाँ से बाहर निकालेंगे।
और मेरा सब भाइयों को सलाम कह देना और सब बहनों को सलाम। माशाल्लाह सब एक ही मकसद के लिए काम कर
जी
रहे हैं।
जी भाई।
सबको सलाम कहना और दुआओं के लिए कहना, और मैं सबके लिए दुआएं कर रहा हूँ, सबके लिए हम दुआएं कर रहे हैं अल्लाह से।
There's breaking news coming in from Chennai. Palanisamy, the proxy of Sasikala and 9 other loyalists have just met Governor Vidyasagar Rao. What we're also being told that the O Paneerselvam camp is now meeting Governor Vidyasagar Rao in Chennai. Sources say Palanisamy has told Governor he has the support of 108 MLAs and should be invited to form the government. Palanisamy is also understood to have told the governor that O Paneerselvam has the support of only 8 AIA DMK MLAs. I quickly want to cut across at this point of time to India Today's T.S. Sudhir, who joins us with the latest on this story. Sudhir, if we are saying, so Palanisamy is now claiming as the support of 124 MLAs, so which means he has the numbers, which means he is well beyond the required 118. Sudhir?
Absolutely. In fact, 124 is the number claimed by A.K. Palanisamy. We just spoke to the fisheries minister in the cabinet, and he said that since they have the support of 124 MLAs, they should be invited by Governor Vidyasagar Rao to form the government immediately. This will also mean that Paneerselvam camp has the support of just about 10 MLAs, leaving 2 seats aside, one for Jayalalitha, which was of course vacated, the R.K. Nagar seat, and one the speaker, which means out of the AIDMK strength of 136 minus 2 minus 124, the Paneerselvam camp will not be able to show more than 10 MLAs supporting them. That's going to be a huge blow to Paneerselvam. Of course, he's going to be here at Raj Bhavan in just a while, and we'll have to see what he actually says to the governor. The stand of the
Stay
Paneerselvam
with me
camp
for a
all
moment.
along
We are
has
getting
been-
more reactions from the AIADMK. Sudhir, just give me a minute. Let's listen in.
அவர்கள் அமைதிக்கு பங்கு விளைவிப்பார்களா? அவர்கள் அத்துமீறுவார்களா? அவர்கள் ஏதாவது துஷ்பிரயோகம் செய்வார்களா? அம்மாவினுடைய கண்காணிப்பில் நிழலில் வளர்ந்தவர்கள். ஆகவே கட்டுப்பாடு குறித்தோ கடமை உணர்வு குறித்தோ எங்களுக்கு யாரும் சொல்லித்தர வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்லை.
அமைச்சர் வந்து மதியம் வந்து ஐஜியை வந்து கேவலமான வார்த்தையில் பேசியிருக்காரு. எவிடன்ஸ் இருக்கு. அதுக்கு என்ன சொல்றீங்க?
அது அமைச்சர்கிட்ட தான் கேட்கணும். எனக்கு
ஒரு நிமிஷம். அதாவது சசிகலா அவர்களை முதலமைச்சரா மற்ற சட்டமன்ற உறுப்பினர்கள் பரிந்துரை செஞ்ச போது கட்சியின் பொதுச் செயலாளராகவும் முதலமைச்சரும் ஒரே நபர் இருந்தா நல்லா இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி சொன்னீங்க. ஒருவேளை எடப்பாடி பழனிசாமி தலைமையில ஆட்சி அமைக்கும் போது எடப்பாடி பழனிசாமியை பொதுச் செயலாளர் ஆக்குவதற்கு வாய்ப்புகள் உண்டா?
இல்ல, இப்ப அந்த சுமையை பகிர்ந்து கொள்வதற்கு ஏற்கனவே 5 வருடம் பெரியகுளம் தொகுதியில் நாடாளுமன்ற உறுப்பினராக, 6 வருட நாடாளுமன்ற மேலவை உறுப்பினராக, கழகத்தினுடைய பொருளாளராக, எல்லோரும் ஏற்க தகுந்த ஒரு அற்புதமான பர்சனாலிட்டி டிடிவி தினகரன் அவர்கள் கழகத்தின் துணை பொதுச் செயலாளராக இப்பொழுது இருக்கிறார்கள். எல்லா சுமைகளையும் அவர் பகிர்ந்து கொள்வார். இந்த கட்சி எட்ட வேண்டிய இடத்திற்கு இந்த இயக்கத்தை அவர் கொண்டு சேர்ப்பார்.
கேள்வி என்னன்னா,
பொதுச் செயலாளரா ஏத்துக்குவோம் இருக்கிறீங்க. ஆனா நீங்க ஏத்துக்கிட்ட உங்களோட அம்மா வந்து ஒரு இறக்கும் போது வரைக்குமே அவர் கட்சியில சேர்த்துக்கப்படவே இல்லை கடைசி வரைக்கும்.
அவர் வந்து கட்சியை விட்டு போக ஒன்னும் செய்யல, கட்சியில சேர்க்கலைங்கிறத நான் ஒத்துக்கிறேன். இன்றைக்கு சின்னம்மா அவர்கள் கழகத்தினுடைய பொதுச் செயலாளர் ஆகிட்டாங்க. எதிரிகளினுடைய அறைகூவல்களை எதிர்கொள்ள.
Okay, so at this point of time, the Palanisamy camp is claiming support of 124 MLAs. So he's well past the halfway mark of 118. Sudhir, so does the governor now have an option? He has to call Palanisamy to form the next government, has to give him the first right.
Well, yes, in fact, just now the Chief Minister Paneerselvam has just driven into Raj Bhavan. But yes, if Governor goes by the rule book, you have no option but to invite Palanisamy to form the next government and prove his majority on the floor of the House probably in 24 to 48 hours. That's really the only option that he has at this point in time. Of course, he will also listen to Paneerselvam's version, whether he has any more MLAs, because all along the Paneerselvam camp has been saying that the MLAs are kept under duress at the Golden Bay Resort, which is why all those people have signed on behalf of Palanisamy. But that's not a version which is borne out by police officials, and I have been speaking to a number of senior police officials of Tamil Nadu Police, and they say that they are all MLAs. In fact, there are many senior police officers also inside the resort. So if any one of them was under duress or any kind of threat, they could have actually come to the police and asked to be taken out of the resort. None of the MLAs who are there have done anything of the sort. So this entire narrative that is being built by the Pannirselvam camp, the Tamil Nadu police officials who I have been speaking to say does not really hold water.
Okay, stay with me. More reactions from the AIADMK coming in. Navneet Krishnan has reacted. Let's quickly listen in.
So we now have ADMK's MP from Rajya Sabha, Navneet Krishnan, with me. Sir, what happened inside? You have met the governor today as well. This is the second time. What happened?
Sir, Mr. Palanichami, Edappadi Palanichami, and other ADMK party functionaries and member of parliaments met His Excellency Governor, and we made our representation stating that Mr. Edappadi Palanichami is having the support of 124 MLAs. So it is a crystal clear that he is having the majority support. So he must be sworn in and delay may be avoided. We have made our request very humbly to His Excellency Governor.
What did he say?
Sir, he said that he would consider.
This is the second day he is considering, right? You asked him why is there a delay or anything?
No, because he, according to him, he has to analyze the issues involved in it.
Any issues involved, sir?
Then nothing, according to me, no issue is involved in it.
Okay.
It is a clear, simple majority. It's a simple case of majority. Come.
Sir,
he will stand, come here.
Sir, what about the MLAs inside the hostel? How are they doing? When are you planning to come out of the hostel?
No,
The resort?
That planning, everything will be only by the higher-ups of our political party. I can say only to the extent that Mr. Edappadi Palanichami is having the support of 124 MLAs of ADMK.
So you want to still stick to the notion that until the party government is formed, you will not leave the resort? MLAs?
No, sir. That I cannot tell anything, sir.
Okay.
Now all the 124 MLAs are staying of their own will and pleasure for the sake of convenience. No, because now all the lady members have given the interview to the vernacular electronic media, stating that they are very free on their own will and pleasure. They are staying there for the sake of convenience. If any call is given by His Excellency Governor, immediately they can assemble here.
Sir, if you don't mind, that place is almost 70 kilometers away from the city. Why is there any other place in the city for convenience?
To accommodate 124 members and their family members, it is not possible, sir.
Not possible. That's the reason.
Oh, yes.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, that's the reason being given for the sake and convenience. 124 MLAs of AIADMK are staying inside the Golden Bay Resort. This is the second day they have met with the governor. The governor seems to be still considering the issues which they don't want to explain. In Chennai, with camera person Vijay, Pramod Madhav, for India Today.
So it's the Palanisamy camp that has claimed they have the support of 124 members. It remains to be seen what the AIADMK faction led by Pannirselvam tell the governor and who's proven right on the floor of the house. We will continue to track developments on that very closely, but that is all I have time for on India First this evening.